What if I told you that your salary is not what determines your wealth, but how you think about your salary does? Every single day, millions of people work hard, earn money, and still feel trapped in the same financial cycle. They wait for the next paycheck, they pay bills, they survive, but they never truly build wealth. Why? Because earning money is not the same as keeping money, and keeping money is not the same as multiplying it. Napoleon Hill taught a powerful truth: wealth is first created in the mind before it ever appears in the bank account. Your salary is only raw material. In the hands of the average person, it disappears, but in the hands of a disciplined thinker, it becomes a foundation for freedom, assets, and long-term wealth. So the real question is not how much do you earn, but what are you doing with what you earn? Stay with me until the end of this speech, because I'm going to break down 5 powerful lessons that can transform any salary, no matter how small, into lasting wealth, financial control, and real independence. If you apply even one of these principles consistently, your financial life will never be the same again. Lesson 1. Pay yourself first. The concept of paying yourself first is often misunderstood as a license for self-indulgence, but in the realm of financial mastery, it is the fundamental law of capital accumulation. Most individuals operate on a residual financial model. They receive their income, settle their debts to the landlord, the utility company, and the grocer, and then hope there is something left over for their own future. This approach is mathematically and psychologically flawed because human nature dictates that expenses will almost always expand to meet the available income. By reversing this flow, extracting a predetermined percentage of your earnings the moment they hit your account, you treat your future self as your most important creditor. This isn't just about saving, it is about the intentional creation of a seed fund that will eventually be used to purchase freedom. When you pay everyone else first, you are essentially working for them. When you pay yourself first, you are finally working for you. Consistency is the engine of this principle, far outweighing the importance of the initial amount saved. Many people wait until they have a significant surplus before they begin, failing to realize that the habit of setting aside money is a muscle that must be trained. Whether it is $10 or $1,000, the act of prioritizing your capital growth creates a psychological shift from a consumer mindset to an investor mindset. This discipline forces a secondary benefit. It necessitates efficiency in the rest of your budget. If you have already removed 10% or 20% of your income, you are forced to become more creative and disciplined with the remaining 80%. This forced scarcity triggers a survival instinct that often leads to better financial decision-making and a more lean, effective lifestyle. Furthermore, paying yourself first is the only way to harness the true power of compounding. Time is the most volatile variable in the wealth equation. Every month you delay starting is a month of exponential growth lost forever. By automating this process through direct deposits or scheduled transfers, you remove the element of willpower from the equation. Wealth is rarely built through heroic acts of self-denial in a single moment. It is built through the quiet, invisible, and relentless automation of small sums over decades. This lesson teaches us that wealth is not what you earn, but what you keep. The person who earns $200,000 and keeps nothing is functionally poorer than the person who earns $50,000 and keeps $5,000, for the latter has the potential for growth, while the former is merely a high-consumption conduit for cash. Lesson 2. Control your expenses, don't let them control you. The phenomenon of lifestyle creep is the silent killer of financial independence. It is the reflexive tendency to upgrade one's car, housing, and wardrobe in direct proportion to a salary increase. This creates a treadmill effect where, despite earning more, the individual never actually gets ahead. To control your expenses is to break this cycle by decoupling your standard of living from your level of income. True financial power is found in the gap, the space between what you earn and what you spend. By keeping your expenses stable while your income rises, you exponentially increase your ability to invest. This requires a profound level of emotional intelligence, as it often means choosing to look poorer than your peers in the short term to become significantly wealthier in the long term. Discipline in spending is not about deprivation, it is about alignment. It is the process of auditing your outflows to ensure that every dollar spent provides a genuine return in utility or happiness rather than just serving as a temporary ego boost. Most modern expenses are socially coerced. We buy things we don't need to impress people we don't like. Controlling expenses involves questioning the default settings of a consumerist society. It means understanding the difference between a need essential for survival and function and a want, a desire for comfort or status. When you master your expenses, you reclaim your time. Every dollar you don't spend on a frivolous luxury is a dollar that can be invested effectively, buying back hours of your future labor. Operating on a lean budget, even when you don't have to, provides a level of psychological freedom that the high spender can never know. If your monthly requirements are low, you are less beholden to a toxic job or a difficult boss. You have the walk-away power that comes from knowing your burn rate is manageable. This lesson emphasizes that wealth is often invisible. The truly wealthy are frequently those who drive modest cars and live in unassuming neighborhoods, while those who appear wealthy are often just one missed paycheck away from total collapse. By mastering your expenses, you ensure that you are the master of your money rather than its servant, allowing you to direct your resources toward assets that appreciate rather than liabilities that rust, rot, or go out of style. Lesson 3. Create additional income streams. Relying on a single source of income, usually a primary job, is one of the most significant risks an individual can take in the modern economy. A salary is a single point of failure. If that stream is cut off due to layoffs, industry shifts, or health issues, the entire financial structure collapses. Diversification is not just a strategy for the stock market, it is a strategy for your personal earnings. Creating additional income streams provides a safety net that allows for greater risk-taking and faster wealth accumulation. These streams can range from active side hustles like consulting or freelance work, to more passive avenues like rental income, dividends, or digital products. The goal is to move away from a one-one relationship between your time and your money. The beauty of multiple income streams is the multiplier effect they have on your savings rate. If your primary salary covers your living expenses, then every dollar earned from a secondary stream can be directed 100% toward investments. This accelerates the journey to financial independence by years, if not decades. Furthermore, building additional streams often requires the development of new skills and the expansion of your professional network, which in turn increases your human capital. You begin to see the world not as a place where you wait for a paycheck, but as a marketplace of problems waiting to be solved. This shift in perspective is often more valuable than the extra money itself, as it fosters an entrepreneurial spirit that is resilient to economic downturns. In the digital age, the barrier to entry for creating new income streams has never been lower. Whether it is leveraging the gig economy, creating content, or investing in small-scale real estate, the opportunities are vast. However, the key is to start small and scale what works. Many people fail because they try to launch a massive second business while working 40 hours a week. The wiser path is to build micro streams that require low overhead and can be managed in the margins of your day. Over time, these small trickles of income can merge into a river. The ultimate objective is to reach a point where your non-work income exceeds your expenses. This is the technical definition of freedom, and it is rarely achieved through a salary alone. Lesson 4. Invest in knowledge before luxury. The most valuable asset you will ever own is the 6 inches between your ears. In the hierarchy of investments, self-education offers the highest rate of return, often yielding results that are orders of magnitude greater than any stock or bond. Financial literacy, technical skills, and psychological discipline are the tools that allow you to identify opportunities and avoid pitfalls. When people prioritize luxury, expensive watches, designer clothes, or luxury travel before they have invested in their own knowledge, they are decorating a crumbling foundation. A luxury item is a depreciating asset that provides a fleeting dopamine hit. Knowledge is a compounding asset that increases your earning potential for the rest of your life. Investing in knowledge means more than just formal education. It involves a commitment to being a lifelong learner. It means reading the books that successful people read, attending seminars, seeking out mentors, and practicing new skills. In a rapidly changing economy, the ability to learn and unlearn is the ultimate competitive advantage. Those who understand the mechanics of money, how taxes work, how inflation erodes value, how markets cycle, are equipped to navigate the world with a map while everyone else is just guessing. This education provides a margin of safety. If you lose all your physical wealth today but retain your knowledge and skills, you can build it all back. If you have luxury items but no knowledge, you will eventually lose the luxury items anyway. The trade-off between knowledge and luxury is essentially a trade-off between status and substance. Status is the outward projection of wealth, often used to mask a lack of inner security. Substance is the internal capacity to generate and sustain value. Choosing to spend $500 on a specialized course rather than a pair of shoes is a signal to yourself that you value your future more than your current image. This discipline builds a mental moat around your finances. As your knowledge grows, your decision-making improves, leading to fewer costly mistakes and more high-value choices. Eventually, the returns from your knowledge will be so great that you can afford any luxury you desire without it impacting your financial health. At that point, the luxury is a reward for success, not a substitute for it. Lesson 5. Make money work for you. The ultimate transition in the journey toward wealth is moving from being a laborer for money to being an owner of capital. Most people are caught in a cycle of trading their limited time for a finite amount of currency. This is a linear path with a hard ceiling, as there are only 24 hours in a day. To achieve true financial freedom, you must learn to employ your money as if it were a workforce. When you invest in assets such as stocks, bonds, real estate, or businesses, you are essentially hiring employees that work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without needing sleep or vacations. This is the essence of making money work for you. Your capital generates more capital, which in turn generates even more. This process is driven by the eighth wonder of the world, compounding. Compounding occurs when the returns on your investments start to earn their own returns. In the beginning, the progress is slow and almost invisible, which is why most people give up. However, if left undisturbed, the growth eventually hits an inflection point where the gains from the investment exceed the original contributions. This is the moment of escape velocity. By focusing on acquiring assets that appreciate or produce cash flow, you are building a machine that will eventually sustain you. The goal is to reach a state where your presence is no longer required for your income to continue. This is the only way to truly own your time and live a life dictated by choice rather than necessity. Making money work for you requires a shift from a spending culture to a capital culture. Instead of seeing $1,000 as something that can buy a new phone, you must see it as $1,000 that, if invested at a 7% return, could provide $70 every year forever. You begin to see every dollar as a seed for a future forest. This lesson also necessitates an understanding of risk and patience. Markets will fluctuate and economies will shift, but the long-term trajectory of productive assets is generally upward. By remaining invested and reinvesting your dividends, you allow the math of the universe to do the heavy lifting for you. In the end, wealth is not about having a large pile of cash. It is about having a reliable system of assets that provides for your needs and desires, freeing you to pursue your highest purpose. At the end of the day, your salary is not your limitation, it is your starting point. The difference between financial struggle and financial freedom is not luck, inheritance, or even opportunity. It is discipline, awareness, and strategy applied consistently over time. Most people spend their lives reacting to money, earning it, spending it, and hoping there is enough left at the end of the month. But wealthy individuals do the opposite. They assign purpose to every dollar before it is even earned. They treat money like a tool, not a reward. If you take nothing else from this message, remember this. Wealth is built in silence through small decisions repeated daily. No one sees the money you save, the habits you build, or the sacrifices you make, but your future will reflect them clearly. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do not wait for a higher salary to begin thinking like a wealthy person. Because the truth is, your financial future does not begin when your income increases. It begins the moment you decide to control it. And if you apply these 5 lessons with patience and discipline, your salary will no longer just support your life, it will build your freedom.